again in the main room. And in most rooms, somebody got broken mid-sentence because time was too short. I know the feeling. Can we have from 2 or 3 people give us 3 words, not a report of what happened in the room, but 3 words that describe the feeling, the sense, the essence of the time together? Which 3 words would you select to describe your experience? Please, Nigel.
Self-discipline and melting.
Thank you. Discipline and melting. Thank you. Please, Madani.
Hope, faith, and warmth.
Hope, faith, and warmth. Thank you. Please, Chris.
Lively, joyful, unexpected.
Right. Thank you. Please, Sierra.
Softly, relegate, allowance, and curious. That's a 4th one.
Thank you very much. Please, Axel.
Opportunity, be happy.
Thank you. It's good to see you, Axel. Please, Mona.
Okay, being uncomfortable.
Indeed. And Beth, please.
Inclusion, flow, and solve.
If we needed a proof point that we reach a unique configuration in a universe of experience, there it is. Life wants to discover itself through the unique configuration that we each are. And when it does so, it celebrates in the presence of the mutualized testimony that we offer each other in the discovery we are evolving. So 2 hours is way too short for me. I was a long distance runner. I wasn't a 100-meter dasher. So my lesson today is 2.5 hours is probably the minimum for an event. So what I want to do is I want to bring, because I promise we will play with this. And one of the ways I answer, actually I'll say this before I bring the slides. One of the ways I answer the question of what is it like to be in this liminal transition from an epoch that's fading, new epoch that's emerging. Well, it is like being in a playground. After I allowed myself to relax to this situation, a lot of the time I don't feel relaxed. I feel I need to be something, to do something, to meet a certain need. But when I look at my grandson, he doesn't have that self-conscious awareness of how he is performing in the ecology. He's just playing. And what if actually this which is now seeking to access that which is latent in us, what if it needs us to relax into not knowing? What if it needs us to relax into playfully discovering? So here is a bit of a playful discovery. So let's see how many we get to. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether we cover all the 8 that I have here or not. This is about this idea of practicing the discovery of shifting from to on a journey between the epoch. And it doesn't say that what I'm writing in the from needs to be abandoned and that the to is an answer, but what the invitation is to sense, feel, what is it like when you introduce this to your mind? What is it like when you introduce this permission to your soul? What's it like to move from rigidly fixed to dynamically evolving? Where and how do you feel in your system the experience of moving from rigidly fixed to dynamically evolving? Where do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it in your mind? How does it turn up? What does it do to you when you invite your soul to relax into discovering the shift from rigidly fixed to dynamically evolving? And when you add to it another shift from separated to connected. So I'm going to pause here because I want us to not just process these as ideas, as concepts. There is an actual psychospiritual, biological, energetic release when we say and feel our way into this is rigidly fixed and this is dynamically evolving. This is separated and this is connected and attuned. I'm happy for anything you want to do with that. Rob, can you give us here your musical response to what is it like to facilitate these two shifts? Thank you. Well, while I'm waiting on some hands here, here is how I'm narrating my experience in the moment. First of all, when I look at this idea of from what is fixed to what is evolving, I appreciate that the floor under me is fixed and stable. The first thing that it leads me to is actually appreciating the everything that offers us stability. I don't want everything around me to always be shifting. I don't think we can handle that. I think we need some stable floor and some stable walls around us. And with it, the more I sense into the potential of a dynamically evolving, we're describing in this an operating system. In the epoch that's ending, when something was established, it held for a very long time, sometimes centuries. We're moving into a much more dynamic, have been moving over the last few decades into a much more dynamically evolving time. And it will likely intensify. The one thing I'm realizing is, as I contemplate into this, is that for me to be able to go with the flow, as Rob was playing this music, I felt the streaming water and could sense that that streaming water has something that contains it. And in a similar way, I need to find a center, something that I can center myself on, an indestructible core, an indestructible center, so that I will be able to be dynamically evolving. Please, Nigel.
Great. Okay. This is a little dance kind of thing. So this is rigidly fixed, really tight, can't do very much. As you allow your fingers to relax, they naturally want to expand. So that's a dynamically evolving. Then you see they're separate. And they don't want to be separate, but I'm holding them separate. But if I curl my fingers in, then they're connected electrically, because I can feel the fist between each of the fingers on each hand. And now they really are fixed, but they're fixed in a fluid way. And that's how they, it kind of feels like that's how they want to be all the time. Always connected in that way, and then doing their own thing. You know, each hand doing their own thing, but always connected.
Thank you. Thank you, Nigel. So you implicit in what you were demonstrating was the shift from using the hands in as physical tools to their energetic properties, and the fact that both hands emit and transmit energy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please, Beth.
So when I'm thinking rigid, I get brought to the position that is usually very militant or kind of standoffish. And it's actually turns up to me when we go to dynamic that it's, if I go fluid, I'm inclusive. I can be individual and separate in what I wish to bring to the world or what I wish to support. But to bring it to the world, I actually have to be more connected in with not only unseen worlds, but with people to bring things forward. So they're not totally separate. They're actually an integration according to how you use it. Because sometimes you have to step back and be separate, find the connection, decide how you're going to stand before you can be in the fluidity of it with other people. So it turns up as a cycle to me rather than individual, which is mostly, I think, what we do when we don't know what to do with things. We make them isolated rather than looking to see how do they flow together.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Well, one way we describe the epoch that's ending, and one of the reasons it's ending, is because the epochal story has been one that brought us more and more and more and more into matter, into the materiality of materiality of the world. We have been now on the upswing for a couple of centuries, but more emphasized in the last few decades. The increasing energetic properties that washing through life on the planet, which is why everything you look at has an intensified phenomenology, not just weather phenomenon. So mostly if you say to somebody separated to connected, they will say, okay, so you mean that we are now electronically connected to each other in a way we haven't been, say, 30 or 40 years ago before the internet and before smartphones. And that is just one expression of it. But the deeper sense of connected is, well, is in the invitation Rita made earlier, recognizing that there is no difference between the universe here and the universe out there. There is no two worlds way of seeing the universe. We are enmeshed and connected. Please, Rita.
Like Nigel, I found myself exploring with hands. It was a very simple, accessible way. And what I found was an appreciation of how you never have 100% of one or 100% of the other. But in the rigidly fixed theatre of the hands was as tight a fist as I can make it. But even there, no matter how tight I make it, the blood is flowing, nerve impulses are jumping, otherwise I couldn't even make a fist. So there's the fluid and the dynamic supporting the rigidly fixed. And then when opening the hands and finding the liberation of the dynamic between them and the range of possible movement, probably infinite, literally. There's something that is very stable. The bones are there. The skin is there. My hands didn't dematerialize. They didn't change shape. The bones were holding the muscles and the tendons in place. There was a stability in the nerve pathways that allowed them to move. So there was never a war between one and the other, but one was always in micro underneath the other.
Beautiful. So we are introducing a polarity to invite the integration of that polarity as a way to transcend the polarity. Very potent. So yes, please, Avshalom.
I'd like to add a basic inner attitude that I try to hold in my life under the idea that we live to change and change to continue to exist. And if I remember this, that this is a better description of the nature of reality, that we live to change and change to continue to exist. And from that inner position, everything looks different.
Thank you. Thank you, Avshalom. One of the contemplations that emerged for me about the idea of separated and connected is that it teaches me to honor that we are separate individuals, and there is a design reason as to why life would want us each to be configured as a unique individual, and there is a design and purposeful reason behind why along the evolutionary story we released ourselves from tribal entity where we were homogeneous, one unified self, to the discovery of the individuated self over recent centuries. And that there is a reason why this continual evolution is now nudging us to discover a new way of coming together. Not by falling back to ancient tribal loss of individuality, of individualized self, but one where separated, individuated selves can come inside something bigger. That to me is one of the nudges of the shift, the soul journey from one epoch to the next. Let's play with one or two more in the little time we have. Well, so how about this? From valuing things, objects, to prioritizing the relationship between things, between processes. And from anchored in the known to immersed in the unknown. What do these invitations, how do they resonate for you when you consider I used to look at objects, at things, at people as individuals. I choose to prioritize and integrate relationship. The soul used to, in the older epoch, primarily focus on the known and gather more and more power in what we know to immerse in the unknown. Please, Ursula.
Yes, I recently heard the story about Saint Teresa of Avila. And for hundreds of years now, since she passed on, scientists, so-called, will take her out of her grave spot and examine her. And they've done this every 100 or so years. And the phenomenon is that her body is still completely intact. And science does not understand why her body is still intact. But in the recent years, they've now taken her out again after the last 100 and something years that it was done. And they've discovered that there's a particular secretion of oil that she has throughout her whole body, which has the most extraordinary fragrance that accompanies it. And in a way, what I'm saying is it's like the mystery of life is extraordinary. And the journey of living on this planet, of our relationship with everything that is natural, according to the natural laws, and our immersion in it is like unbelievable in terms of being able to imagine what a human complex, what a human faculties could be like. But what it says is, we know we sort of freeze, don't we, food to keep it going. But when it melts, that putrefaction happens so fast. But in this case, what I'm getting at is that when there is a presence of something that is so potent in the electromagnetic realms that keeps alive that physical form, then it suggests that there's something so important about being human on this planet, each individual life, and staying as intact as we can be in our relationships with every gift that the Great Mother's given us, in our sensing and in our higher faculty knowings.
Thank you for bringing to us this mystery, a sense of mystery of what is it that can energetically preserve the biological body from deteriorating. A mystery that has been found with few very special people throughout history. She is one of them. We are nearly running out of time. So I'd like to do this. I'd like to bring the rest of the slide, and then just ask you to look at this and say, and invite in the time we have left, any other voice to play with this and play whatever message you want to configure from you to your soul as a way to encourage the soul to explore, to experiment, to increase range. So the shift from reliance on plans to trusting the process, the shift from fear and defensiveness to confidence and curiosity, the shift from hierarchical to distributed network leadership, the shift from arrogance and ignorance to humility and wisdom, and more. Which of these pivots, which of these shifts or others offer the soul a path of easement on the journey to a new epoch? This has been the inquiry, the centering inquiry for us today, and will continue to be a theme that we will explore as the year unfolds. And I'd like to invite to comment to this and or to offer a closing note from yourself as a message to your soul. Please, Lisa.
All righty. So what I would add at this point, and thank you for today, Aviv. It's been very, very rich. So the bit that caught me was the separated to the connected. For me, it starts there. So if one can connect to oneself, to the universe, to the planet, to others, it's a springboard for everything else in your list there, in your loom. So to me, that's where I begin with how do I bridge those separations to a greater connection. And the other thing I want to mention, which I loved when Avshalom said, we have to change to exist. Wow. Is that true? If we're open and we can change and move on and, evolute and let things go, then that existence will be so much richer and real. Again, as I've often said, it's the search for what's true, the truth. So I would put that in.
Thank you, Lisa. And let's go, please, to Martin.
The lake of the Sacred Heart, the human heart expands way beyond previously known dimensions, and the tendrils of the heart stretch out and touch the tendrils of other hearts, creating a sacred heart. And the Sacred Heart offers the cover for a deeper humanity to occur and for the human connection to flourish across the planet, to the universe, and to creation itself.
Thank you, Martin. Please, Peter.
The interesting feeling that came to me is there's something about this that it all feels the same. In a certain way, they would all come together. And I'm guessing that if we can really be with our soul, we've talked today about being connected to the universe, and then it's right here, it's in us. And if we could better dwell with our soul and trust with our soul, that it will connect us to these states and places. Anyway, it's something I'd like to explore because these all seem to come in the same place in me when I think about them.
And how does it turn up for you in your system? What does it cause in you?
It's almost like a movement, and I can see myself from behind me.
Okay.
It's like I'm in motion, but I'm also connected, and I reach far beyond my normal space.
Yeah. So, Peter, it's one of the challenges for us when we choreograph an experience like this, is that some of like what we did here in 10, 15 minutes, we could take 4 or 5 hours to truly bring to life. And the challenge is, if we truly want to embody this fully, we can't, I'm talking to myself now, but I'm also talking to you because you are chief curator of the project. We probably need to dare to do longer workshops, go even beyond 3 hours, so just annotations, because each of those require more time to sense, to discover, to bring the music off, to bring the expression off, to bring the drawings off, to bring the cartoons off, to bring the poetry off, all of it. So thank you. Please, Kiriki, you're going to bring us home.
Yeah, I just wanted to show a drawing that appeared. And to say to my soul, and maybe to our collective soul tonight, that all is well, that there is movement in stillness, and there is knowing in not knowing. And to thank you all for a special Valentine's Day, in the sense that there is love for our significant one, but there is also the love of the human, and there is also the love of what was called the Platonic eros of the virtue of arete, which is the ultimate virtue. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Kiriki. Thank you all for joining us on this Valentine Day for a discovery of the soul's journey between epochs. As I sense in myself, it doesn't feel complete, and that's quite all right. That's part of the nature of the transition. We are experimenting. We are making one draft after another, and we're seeking to relax into the new you, the new person inside you that's emerging. We used to look at ourselves, see ourselves in the mirror every morning, and we recognize ourselves in the physical sense. And we all go through the aging process in the planetary carnal vessel. Could it be that the new epoch that's arising now for humanity is bringing for us a way in which we can be younger spiritually, so that we can rejuvenate and discover a new person being birthed on the inside. So Lisa, thank you for hosting us today. Thank you to the Portals team and to everybody. Let's close with our, before we ask Rob to give us a few more minutes of music, let's bring all our voices as a way of saying goodbye and good day.
Can I add something small, Aviv?
Please.
Yeah. So call it a Violet Time Day, and it's to do with falling in love with the future.
All right. Not just Valentine, but Violet. We got that. Thank you. Goodbye and good day.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Blessings to everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Ja, dus ja, ik dacht 3 uur. Ik denk nou dat wordt krap.
Your music is
for being here, and onward we go. More exploration and more adventure. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Lisa.
everyone.
Along with our website at portalsofperception.org, Portals is also available on YouTube and on all podcast platforms, as well as social media. You can become an active member and join the conversation in community events. And you can help us get the word out by liking this content and by sharing it with your friends.